really hard to talk about Zoom because everybody thinks they know what Zoom is, right? If I reach out well, first of all, who hasn't heard of Zoom? All right, that makes it easier, right? The good part about Zoom, though, is remember, and I like to tell people, a 5-year-old who's going to first grade remotely and a CEO of the biggest bank in the world uses the same version of Zoom. And that's the great part about Zoom. Zoom was really designed differently. If I said what's Zoom all about, what's the one word most people say? Collaboration. I like this here. Most people say what? Meeting. You know what the other one they say is? Phone. You know what the next one they say is? Contact center. Yeah, those are the SKUs, right? That's how we sell it, right? We sell it, that's like saying tires when you talk about a car, right? One part with Zoom is really about what it does, how it makes companies and people better. You know what we think about at Zoom? We don't think about meeting, and we don't think about phone, and we don't think about contact center. We think about human connection. I'm 40, it said 40, but I'm really 45 years in technology, and I'm so glad I'm still in technology for one reason. We are finally changing the way people, what's the last word? Work. We are changing the way people work. And it took how much technology to get them here? And remember, it is all about people, right? You can't be a product, a service, software, unless you think about one thing, people. We talk about what word do we have to use today as many times as possible? AI. Okay, but for us who have been in the business for a long time, isn't AI just nothing but a technology? Can't you say HTML, COBOL, all means the same? It's really about how do we turn AI into solutions to augment how humans work. And that's what Zoom's about. We think about human-to-human connection. But think about the world of work. It's changed a little bit. How many people here are proud parents of a Gen Z? Do they work a little different than you work? Right? You all pay for their cell phones, right? But you can't call them, right? Every time you call them, they text you back, okay? They work different, and that's what we try to think about. We try to think about where the puck is going. Remember, so I'm a baby boomer. How many boomers are out there? Yeah, so we're about 15% of the workforce right now, but you know what's going to change? We're 15%, but we're the most important 15%. We're still telling people what to do. And obviously, anybody who heard Jamie last week, he's still telling people what to do. But at the end of the day, in about 2030, we'll be 3%. And that's what Zoom thinks about, because we want to make sure that what we're doing, the solutions that we're providing, are going to grow with our clients. They can continue. Who wants to buy 1-year technology? Who buys a car that you want to get rid of 12 months? You want to bring something in that people can use and that can grow with them. They can follow the journey, because by 2030, and my boomer friends out there, we'll be gone. Okay? Who's a millennial here? Wow, not a lot of them. Okay, but millennials out there, guess what? We're going to pass the torch to you somewhere around 2030. And all those things you don't like about the way we do, it's going to be your job. Okay, who's the Gen Zs? Yeah, so who am I missing? Are most people Gen Xs? But the Gen X is the smallest group. We still don't know where they fit, right? Somewhere along the way, they should have been a baby boomer or a Gen Z. Right? How many people are Gen X? Okay, there we go. Good for Gen Xs, right? But at the end of the day, I want you to think about the way you work. Everyone works different. And that's what Zoom's about. So, quick little history about Zoom. Zoom started out way before I started with Zoom, maybe 10, 12 years ago. Anybody know the real name of Zoom before it became Zoom?
It's like Boomer? There was a Zoomer?
It was actually Zasby, believe it or not. And Zoom came out of the creation of Eric Yuan, who's my boss, who was WebEx. And now he started Zoom, right? He needed a different way to develop. Anybody know where the word Zoom came from? So say it again?
Tim Allen movie.
No. So here's what happens. When you have a company named Zasby and you start bringing investors in, what do they say about that name? No. So they said, go out and find another one. So he did. It was the book he read his daughter when she was young called Zoom City. And he grabbed the name out of there. But I say those things because I want you to think about the leader of Zoom and what he thinks about. See, he doesn't think about meeting. He doesn't think about phone. He doesn't think about contact center. Those are the products that we sell. That's how people consume it. What he thinks about is everything in between. Now, part of it is, why continue with Zoom? Because, when I started Zoom 5 years ago, so I just came from JP Morgan, I was retired, I came from Zoom, and I might have said, what's Zoom? Back in 2019, when someone said, meet Eric, I had to look him up, Zoom. Wasn't even on any of the radars at that time. But the goal is to figure out what people need to augment human capabilities. How are we going to be better because of the technology we use? How are we going to turn that technology word into solutions, right? And not just sell tech. I meet sellers all over the world. I have this little rule. I was talking about it for breakfast. Please don't say UCAST or CCAST when I'm in the room, okay? They don't even fit anymore because vendors like Zoom are now recreating these productivity and collaboration platforms. And I'll go through some examples at the end, which even I'm pretty amazed about. People have picked up these solutions and figured out a way to use them in a much better way. Okay, so what happens is, what's the number one thing you think Gen Zs, they don't like micromanagement, but you know what they also are into? Microlearning, right? I'm seeing nods, microlearning. You know what microlearning means? Give me the world TikTok style. Right now, everybody will lie, right? I know you're shaking your head, but if I ask who uses TikTok, all of my peers here are gonna put their hands down because they're embarrassed to say, I watch TikTok, right? But what it does is, it delivers the world to us 90 seconds at a time. Come on, who's learned how to do a recipe on TikTok? Who's learned how to use a hammer in a better way, right? Who's learned how to change a tire in a better way, okay? Who's learned how to use AI in a better way due to this product that no one wants to talk about or admit that's on their phone? Microlearning. So Zoom picked that up and said, if the new generation wants to learn in a microlearning way, why wouldn't we invent something called Zoom Clips? But no one knows that name. How many people have ever heard the word Zoom Clips for today? You see, the goal is we focus on meeting, phone, and contact center. And my challenge as the global CIO for Zoom is to make sure you understand that there's so much more value. Most of the time when I talk about Zoom, I use one slide, and we call it the Zoom wheel. And I show the 3 dots, meeting, phone, contact center. And then people go, what's all the rest of that stuff? And I'm like, I'm just waiting for someone to ask. Because at the end of the day, really what Zoom's about. So think about Zoom. I know there's a logo up there, MLB Baseball. Does anybody know what Zoom does with MLB Baseball? Besides give them a phone, a meeting, and a contact center, right? Do you know every replay that's done by MLB anywhere in the world is transmitted back to MLB headquarters, it is decided in MLB headquarters, and talked back to the field, and no decision is ever made on the field. And guess what product they use for that? What was that? A little louder? Zoom. There you go, right? And Zoom's also a great word when someone wants you to smile when you're taking pictures. Just say Zoom, and you end up smiling about it, right? But think about this. Think about the genius part of figuring out how we can do that. I actually asked, I was with him the other night, Neil, he's the CIO from MLB, and I said, when all the umpires go in the corner and they look at that iPad, what are they looking at? He goes, I don't know, I don't even think it's on. Okay, but because everything is done. We love when there's a replay because it pops up Zoom replay, but that is just a story about how we took something. Now, before you got in this room, if someone said, Zoom handles MLB replays, you probably would have went, how? That's not meeting, that's not phone, that's not contact center. No, but it's everything else in the wheel. It's everything else that makes the Zoom product and the AI portions of it work better. Look, we're not about replacing people. I know every time we hear about AI today, it's about reduce 80% of your headcount, 40% of your headcount. How about we just make the current headcount better, right? How about we augment how people work? How about we just make it so people work better? Wouldn't that be a good first place, right? How about we take your kids and when they come into the workforce, we give them an advantage you didn't have. PowerPoint, everybody uses PowerPoint, everybody presents. Do you know the average PowerPoint? 25% on content and 75% making it look good. So you're sitting there with a presentation where they only spent 25% of the time on the content, and the rest of it was just figuring out the fonts and the pictures and things like that. So I think at the end of the day, one of the things you got to look at is Zoom is, we sell solutions. We sell how to make people work better, right? We sell how to augment humans. We think about how humans want to collaborate. I have a great story. First day I started Zoom, and don't tell Eric this, I'm sure you're recording it, but I actually think I'm the oldest person at Zoom. First day I start with Zoom, January 1st, 2020. What a great time to start, right? 11 weeks later, the world went crazy. So here's what I did. I picked up what device for my first communication? I picked up the phone. The phone, right? That's what we all use. I picked up the phone, I called the first person. Ring, ring, ring. All of a sudden something came up on the screen. You know what it said? Call declined. I do report to the CEO. I'm pretty senior here. I wonder why that happened. A box pops up. You know what it says? Welcome to Zoom. I'm sure whatever you need, we can handle over chat. Okay, what do you do? What do you do? What's your first reaction? Say it again? Yeah, well, the first thing is my old job, we would go down and visit them with a picture of the org chart and remind them what the org chart means. But now I'm working in a company that I know doesn't work like my Wall Street background. So you know what I did? I put in what I needed, and 10 minutes later, I fully got my answer. You know what I learned? People work different, right? Who likes to work synchronously, which means I need the answer right now, right? No one's gonna raise their hand because you know that's what you're trying to do. Who works asynchronously? It's okay if I put it out there and a team works on it, right? I learned that people work differently. Then I learned a better fact. I learned that a platform like Zoom doesn't matter how I work or how you work or how you work. We all meet in the middle, right? We support asynchronous work and we support synchronous working. We support people who want to talk over the phone. We support people that want to see each other. We support people that don't want to see each other, right? How many people go on a meeting and decide I don't want my camera, right? How many people use our human avatars? You ever see our human avatars? Are they cool? You get, because now when I talk to a Gen Z, who's mostly has their camera off, right? I see body language. I see this. I see this. I see when they look away. I'm getting those physical cues like they're in the meeting with me, but their camera's not on, right? How cool is that, right? And that's what we think about every day. How do we make it so that we all can meet in the middle? We can all amplify the way that we work, right? Figure out the way that we work best, because you're all individuals here. But how do we meet in the middle? Because we still need to collaborate, right? And I hope you have a different version or a different vision of what Zoom provides. And I hope when you leave here, when someone says, what does Zoom do? I'd like you to say, they improve human connection, right? They don't sell meeting, phone, and contact center. And that's what I like to leave people with. Because I really do think that I'm so happy that I'm still in technology, because after 45 years, we've thrown so many technologies at the users, but isn't this the first time we're changing the way they work? It doesn't matter physically where they are. It doesn't matter mentally where they are. It doesn't matter whether you're a Gen Z or a Gen X, sorry I left you guys out, right? Or a baby boomer. What matters is you have a need to collaborate. You have a need to interface with humans. And Zoom thinks about this every day. So I'll be around for lunch if you want to talk about Zoom, but at the end of the day, we have this one great slide. That's the circle, and it shows the circle of Zoom. And when you see it, you're going to see the three things I talk about: meeting, phone, and contact center. And then I hope you go, but what the hell are all the rest of these things, right? How do I use this product every day? Actually, who uses Zoom? So here's what I would love you to do. Make me a promise, okay? Next time you're on Zoom, start a Zoom call with yourself. And that's allowed, okay? Touch every button. You will be surprised at the hidden functionality and the things that will make it better. I got 49 seconds, I got one quick story. So we were having a problem with a CIO that we sold Zoom to, and I couldn't go because I was doing one of these presentations, so I prepped the team. So I got off the stage and I'm walking back and I got Zoom phone and I joined the call and everybody's arguing. I'm saying like, Jamie's was calm with the swear words. So everybody's arguing. So now what do? Normally you just hang the phone up, put it in your pocket and say, let's. So I get on the call. Before the CIO sees me, I ask Zoom, because most people don't know we can do this. I said, what are the three most important things to Michael? That's the CIO. Zoom pops up 3 words, 3 lines. I say, hey, sorry you're arguing. I don't know what's going on. But you know, Michael, I think these are the 3 things you want. He said, guy joins the meeting 99% over and is fully apprised of what I need. Can I ever tell him I used AI? Have a great day.